In, and I am Nefarious. I'll be casting this game for you. If you don't like my voice, I apologize, but you're gonna have to deal with it. And so today we're gonna be casting AD2L versus Reborn Dominion. I don't want to throw the hashtag in there, but if you have a problem with that, please let me know. So I've been doing a little bit of looking around at the AD2L after this first week of games, and the three picks that are just exceptionally popular this season: Vengeful Spirit, Earthshaker, and Dazzle. And Earthshaker and Dazzle actually, last season, were the two most popular heroes, followed by Winter Wyvern. And Winter Wyvern has gone almost completely unpicked this season, and we can almost certainly attribute that to her nerfs. So I'm definitely looking forward to see either a Vengeful Spirit pick or a ban. And other than that, this is the amateur leagues, so people kind of do their own thing. And I'm excited to see what we get out of this game. So here we are loaded in, and the draft has just started. Ares Dota will be Dire, and Reborn Dominion are playing on Radiant. Looking forward to see some interesting pocket picks and some fun plays from both of these teams.
10 seconds remaining.
So another standard ban would definitely be the Invoker. This hero, and Juggernaut actually is also very popular, but I did not expect a first phase ban. This probably just means they don't like the hero, as a lot of phase 1 bans are banning heroes you just, at least at this level, are banning heroes you don't really want to play against. Because here there's not as much of a order to the picking phases. People will pick whatever they want almost whenever they want, unless they're saving something till the end. And there's the Gyrocopter, extremely standard opener. I've seen this hero, Gyro and Invoker, two heroes that are very, very common pickups and very safe pickups too. They fit into a lot of drafts. And there's the Dazzle, as I was saying earlier. This hero is extremely popular in the AD2L and has been for a very long time. Bane and Gyro together is actually a pretty strong lane. Gyro's already really hard to kill in your lane, and with a Bane sitting behind him, it's almost impossible. This hero is also very strong at zoning thanks to the change to Brain Sap, so that his mana cost is significantly lower.
10 seconds remaining.
So far, both teams have two very well-rounded, safe picks. Invoker Dazzle doesn't really give away that much to how you want to play your game, and neither does Gyrocopter Bane. The Slardar, another really common ban. The hero is strong. I think for picks, AD2L should probably, either they need to pick another defensive support and play a really safe style as the Bane, or pick something really aggressive that can synergize with the Nightmare. So an Earthshaker, a Witch Doctor, they could even do the cheesy Marana Bane, and even a support Lina or Leshrac would be good here with them.
5 seconds remaining.
Darkseer banned out. That hero combos pretty well with a Vacuum into Call Down, and Ember Spirit is just extremely annoying to deal with. Shadow Shaman, another popular hero in this tournament, not as popular as, say, Dazzle, Shaker, or or Vengeful Spirit, but still very popular. I'm expecting, actually, Reborn could pick up a Vengeful Spirit and do a minus armor comp. Take really, never mind. So they're doing the Witch Doctor, which is a good early aggressive support and a really strong team fighter. He also helps with early push if that's something you want to do, because you have Voodoo Restoration. That stacked on top of Weave is really, really hard to break. The heroes are just so tanky and just survive for so long that you might not be able to do it. Especially considering Gyrocopter's not the best single target hero. He's much more of an AoE focused hero with Flat Cannon and Call Down.
5 seconds remaining.
I think... Oh, okay, Silencer. So that hero actually ruins Witch Doctor's life. Witch Doctor is going to have to play super patiently, and you might not be... Even then, he might not be able to get an ult off. If you get Last Word on you, you can't drop your ult for 5 seconds, and then if you get hit by the Global Silence, that's another, I believe it's 4 seconds at rank 1. So this is probably their support. I doubt it's going mid. it very well could. The change to Curse of the Silent to Arcane
10
Curse
seconds remaining.
gives the hero a much more reliable source of damage, so I suppose we could see this in a core role.
5 seconds remaining.
Definitely going to keep an open mind about their next pick. Reborn Dominion, unless that's a core Witch Doctor or a core Dazzle, looking for their offlaner and their carry. Slardar's out, Darkseer is out, Clockwork is still in, and that hero is really good at forcing the issue. He's really good at saying, alright, you have really long cooldowns on your Global Silence, and when you fight without Global Silence in a Silencer lineup, you're weaker. The hero does not offer that much to teamfights otherwise, so they could pick a hero like that to really force it, like a Clockwork or a Centaur. And an Axe is also possible, but he may not fare that well in this game. Alright, so they go with their carry instead, and an anti-mage pick is okay, but it's a little... Ares Dota has good catch for this hero. They have good ways to really get this hero and kill him. They have Global, they have Fiend Script, they have Nightmare, they have Last Word. They have lots of ways to prevent him from blinking and just killing him. This hero is really squishy until later in the game when he's able to build his items.
Seconds remaining.
So Ares Dota is still looking for their mid hero, and I suspect they're off lane unless they choose to do a 2-1-2 with Silencer and another core role, or even putting their Silencer as their core. Dragon Knight is still in the pool. You still have, I guess, Shadow Fiend wouldn't be terrible here. He lanes decently up against the Invoker, and definitely a hero that can fight early, build a mech, and you can definitely fight back against an early push. And it seems Reborn Dominion with an anti-mage pick probably moved away from an early push. So, yes, the Silencer is definitely their mid now. The Visage pick, I actually really like. They have a lot of ways now to stop this Witch Doctor and Dazzle from offering any support to their team, and these are just two really high damage, really aggressive supports. So the final ban from Reborn Dominion is the Undying, and that's probably a safe ban, because if Ares Dota could pick it for their off lane, and then Reborn Dominion will have a really hard time in the early game, but if it got late, I think they would have won anyways. They don't really have very well scaling heroes. Silencer scales well, Gyro scales well. Bane does not scale that well, although Visage does. So Tusk taken out of the pool, and that's definitely a hero I think Reborn Dominion would have really liked to use. A hero they can just really get in the face of this Silencer, these really immobile heroes that Ares Dota has. And that's actually something that Ares should be worried about. They don't have a lot of ways to disengage from these fights without having to pop a global. And Reborn Dominion have lots of ways to catch you, especially if this is a Flex Invoker. So they actually choose instead, I think this is, in a way, a minus armor comp. They've got Nasal Goo, they've got Weave, they've got Forged Spirits. So we could definitely see a lot of pressure coming out from them, and definitely look to Roshan. I think that Roshan will be taken fairly early this game by Reborn Dominion. Although Ares Dota with a Visage, if he gets an early medallion, they can definitely kill Roshan very, very quickly thanks to his familiars. So far, though, I think Reborn Dominion, I think their lineup is decent, although there's a lot of weight on this Invoker. This Invoker really needs to be able to catch with the Tornado. He needs to, and yeah, there's Axe, and it's actually a pretty good pick here. I apologize, that was my Steam, and I think my game just disconnected. And I just found out my in-game mic was not working that whole time, so I apologize, but I will have the recordings up of the full thing on YouTube. Give me just a moment to fix my in-game. It's unfortunate it was not working. So here we are, back in the draft, and while we're waiting to get this going, I'm going to fix my my mic. Whoop, whoop. Looks like I'm not quite sure how to get this going. No. Okay. Okay, so here we go. I think I put on the open mic now. I apologize for anyone watching in Dota TV. It's I thought I had it fixed. I thought I had it set up properly, but it was not. So I'm just going to give a really fast rundown on what I think of these drafts. I think the Axe is really good. He has a lot of... If he can get a fast blink and jump to the backline, he's going to really, really, really kill this Witch Doctor and Dazzle. And I also think Reborn Dominion have the slightly weaker draft. I think they just don't have enough catch. There's a lot of weight on this Invoker to play correctly, but I think if it goes late, Reborn are going to win just because they have heroes like they have better scaling heroes. The Bane will fall off and Axe will also fall off, so I think there's a little bit of a timer. I think Reborn Dominion need to just try to stall the game as best they can, but the issue is will they be able to do it. So now with that's done, going to do a quick rundown of these players. We've got Squibby Patch on Ares playing Axe, Sheepzilla playing Silencer, Deep Six playing Visage, Gizmo playing Gyro, Flying Toaster, who I'll probably just call Toaster, playing Bane. And on the other side of the river, on Reborn Dominion, we have Red playing Anti-Mage, Olive Garden playing Dazzle, RGB on the Witch Doctor, Tree Brother is Bristleback, and Cocoa Puffs is playing the Invoker. So this is definitely First Blood. This is a really good start for them. They're going to get the rune, and the First Blood gold isn't actually that much for any hero except really the Gyrocopter, but it's going to help him a lot. He basically has boots now, and Gyrocopter with boots is terrifying. So I hope they give this to... Okay, so they gave it to the Gyro. And on the other side, Invoker did get the Bounty Rune. So Silencer might have a little bit of a problem, but that 2 stolen int could actually mean a lot in this lane. So this does look like a standard Quaswex Invoker, starting 2 Fairy Fires and a Blades of Attack for some damage. Since if you do start Quas, your damage is pitifully low, as you can see. It looks like they're going to be running a tri-lane down here, and this is a really defensive tri-lane. There's not a lot of kill potential unless the cask bounces are really, really good in this lane. Axe with a Stout Shield and the Ring of Protection is pretty survivable, although he will probably get zoned out of this lane. And on the other side, there's another tri-lane, and this one, as opposed to the tri-lane on Ares, the tri-lane of Reborn Dominion actually has okay kill potential. Bristleback is actually, I think, a fairly weak laning hero. He has very low kill potential, especially when he's laning against 3 ranged heroes. But I don't think there's going to be a lot of kills in any of these lanes. So it seems like the early game is going to be fairly passive. There was a creep block here, and it looks like it was blocked after the 30-second mark. Yeah, that's right. Axe was wandering around in the jungle. So I'm going to open up the last hits here, and we'll see who's... So Anti-Mage is off to a good start. 8 last hits. He's very, very happy with that. Although I think this needs to be dewarded immediately, because they're going to push, and Axe does not care about getting any farm in this lane. He just wants to get the levels, hit level 6. Although he does want a Blink Dagger, it will not take long to farm up in the jungle a Blink Dagger with his counter Helix, especially if the supports on Ares decide to stack up the jungle, because after a while I think it's pretty safe to leave your Gyrocopter alone up against the Bristleback. Invoker got the Bounty Rune. He's level 3 and is about level 4, so him and Silencer are fairly even. Silencer has a bottle on the way. There's a haste rune bottom. And yeah, so Dazzle's just poking with Poison Touch, but it's not really doing any significant damage. So Axe is just going to be able to walk away from there. I think if you're this Axe, you're actually pretty happy. You're getting a fair amount of XP, you're not dying, probably not worried about getting any farm, but on the opposite end of that is the Axe is probably going to be, I say that, but maybe I spoke too soon, and there's what I was saying about not having enough catch. So neither team really has a way to get a lot of kills, but I think if a team was going to get really active early, it would be Ares. They have a lot more reliable lockdown, they have a lot stronger lockdown. So anyways, as I was saying about this lane, the Axe may not be dying, but Anti-Mage is getting free farm. However, the XP is being split pretty heavily, and I would really like to see these supports rotated on that Silencer, who's really not mobile at all, and the Poison Touch would do really, really good to proc Cold Snap, And they could get a kill on this Silencer. I say that, but this Invoker's having a pretty rough time up against the Silencer. Although he is getting his levels and his farm isn't that far behind the Silencers. And there's a smoke game. It looks like the smoke rotation. I imagine they're going to head mid on the Invoker, and unless is there any detection, he could very feasibly invoke Ghost Walk. They would have to kill him very quickly. So they're just waiting in the wings here, trying to figure out when they want to go in. And the way the lane is pushed, it looks like they're going. So they're opening with the Nightmare, which unfortunately gets triggered pretty quickly, but this could be a kill with Soul Assumption. Yes, definitely a quick kill. Dazzle might get a return kill though, although he might just end up dying. So unfortunately, and no, all three of those kills happened here. Good. So that was definite. I think you're definitely happy with that if you're Ares, and I just missed the axe get dived. I apologize, I wasn't paying enough attention, but now you're really happy with that if you're... So Ares is really happy with how that turned out. I think you've basically won mid lane now. Dazzle, I guess, got the benefit of a little bit of XP, but on the other side of that, your Silencer is being set up to do decently, but this Animage has had a completely uncontested lane, and they just don't really have the tools to... They don't really have the tools to catch this Animage. So here's another good cask bounce, and this Animage needs to be careful. Looks like they're... I think Dazzle should stay here. I really wish she had a point in Shallow Grave instead of Poison Touch, but he just wants to be... He wants to posture himself more aggressively. So the Gyrocopter is also farming very well, and he's almost level 6. So I think the Gyro is getting more out of his lane than the Anti-Mage, for example. There just isn't going to be enough damage. A good defensive Tornado from the Invoker, but he still might get caught. Alright, so being able to get up high ground, he ends up being okay. And it looks like they've brought Visage down bottom, which, with a good Axe Taunt, and there's a pretty decent heal bomb, with a good Axe Taunt, the burst damage from Soul Assumption, if enough damage is dished out, could be enough to kill the Animage. He has no points in Spell Shield yet, and Visage is a very, very bursty support. So definitely going to need to be careful, and that's where that point in Grave could be really useful. They could definitely play a little more aggressively before Axe hits 6. I'm going to look at the Bristleback. I haven't really paid much attention to him yet. So he's... I would be really happy if I were this Bristle. He's died. He was the first blood, but he's getting a fair amount out of this lane. Oh, there's the call down. This could definitely be a kill, but the creep wave is too close. In fact, it might just turn around on them. That's just the Bristleback at work. He's very tanky, and unfortunately, because the creep wave was so close, the Rocket Barrage didn't do nearly enough damage, and it could have even turned around the other way, where the Gyro could have died if he stayed for that Rocket Barrage. Forced to use some regen, but I think he's still pretty happy with how that turns out. Forcing the Bristle away from his lane, or at least forcing him away from some farm. I see a... No, there's... Yes, there is a stack here. So there's that. That could be farmed. There's a stack here. So it's a couple stacks coming out from Ares, and I think that's the right way to do it. Your Axe is going to have a pretty hard time in lane, and he's already died, so having stacks for him to fall back on, definitely good, and I applaud their supports for doing that, and let's see if Reborn Dominion has been doing the same, and that's something I think they could definitely look to do, and something's happening somewhere, and I just caught the tail end of that, and as I was... So, a double kill for the Gyrocopter, and he's been utilizing his cooldown so well. I'm sorry I just caught the tail end of that. I need to have a little bit better map awareness, but I see something going on bot. So, this Gyro is definitely... He has less farm than the Animage, but he has more kills and probably still more levels. Yeah, the Animage does not have Mana Void yet, so this Gyro... If you're Reborn Dominion, you're going to have to be really, really worried about this Gyrocopter.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Looks like they're trying to make a play here, but with Bane right there and Nightmare ready... Oh, never mind, he used it. But it's... They just don't have enough catch. I think they want to play this aggressive style, but unfortunately, due to the way they drafted, they don't have all that much in the way of lockdown. It looks like this So there's a quick tornado. Oh, unfortunately, okay, he just barely gets enough for Ghost Walk, but Axe could taunt him if he Ghost Walks. Great taunt, and they catch the Invoker. That's a really big kill, and this Silencer is having a pretty good laning stage. Already level 8. I'm going to compare that to everyone else. Yeah, he's the highest level in the game and has stolen 8 intelligence already. This is almost the dream start if you're Silencer. I'm interested to see what items he goes next. See if he can maximize his lead. A Rod of Atos might not be very bad here, considering they have several heroes that just need to walk around. Although Orchid would be very good to catch out this Anti-Mage, and he could also just go for an item like a Yule's Scepter. I'm not really sure what that Sage's Mask is going to turn into just yet. Let's check what it might turn into. I'd imagine it'll be an Orchid or a Yule's. I don't really see anything else happening. I think they need to camp their supports down here. Your Anti-Mage isn't... Then again, Bane is down there, so just have a TP ready on the Dazzle, and you need to protect your Invoker. He needs to have a better start than this. Or you smoke up and you start to pressure this Gyrocopter, who really needs to be punished somehow. He's very close to a Helm of the Dominator. I'm sorry, I missed another kill. I apologize for that. I'd assume he got dunked, but Witch Doctor may get the return, and those cask bounces just barely securing the kill. Although, I think killing this Anti-Mage is definitely more worth it, and he did actually get more gold. So I think if you're Axe, you're pretty happy with how that trade goes. And I'm sorry, I keep missing kills on the map. I do apologize. I'll try to pay more attention. Try to get a little less long-winded about some things that clearly aren't that important. So Visage has Familiars, and the level 6 on this hero is terrifying. Those Familiars add a huge amount of damage, and there's not level 6 yet on the Dazzle, although they do have Death Ward cooling down. That was a huge heal bomb, but thanks to the global, they may not be able to get him. A really good defensive Nightmare. And they managed to get this kill, but... Or do they? Really, this is just devastating. This is not what you want to happen, and that was a really good global silence and outstanding rotations from Ares. They immediately collapse and protect their Silencer, and this Silencer did a good job using his bottle. Charges in between the ticks of the Poison Touch, and managing to just barely survive. This Gyrocopter, his first rotation of the game, ends up being really successful. Saves his mid laner, and the first global silence of the game I'd also say is pretty successful. Looks like someone TP'd away. Looks like they're going to be trying to get a return kill on this Vayne, and it looks like they just might. Death Ward comes out, but it's immediately cancelled by the Familiars. Awesome micro, and it looks like this is going to just go from bad to worse. This Dazzle gets blown up, and they might, thanks to Warpath, it looks like Bristle's going to be able to escape, but just really good Familiar micro, immediately cancelling the Death Ward and enabling them to take this really big fight. And this is what Ares Dota needs to do, because they don't scale as well. The Silencer scales pretty good, the Visage scales pretty good, and the Gyro scales alright, but he's not going to be able to man-fight that Anti-Mage. So this is... I think you're really happy if you're Ares. You're taking the early fights that you need to take, and Reborn Dominion just need to find a way for them to rebuff these fights. They need to be able to minimize their losses and take whatever objectives on the map they can to get their Anti-Mage fat, to get their Bristleback, to become this brick wall that you pick Bristleback to become. And it's going to be hard, and they may be able to get a pick off here, but it doesn't look like anyone's really in position. Unfortunately, they're not going to be able to get that, but on the other side of the map, it looks like Ares might claim an uncontested tier 1 tower. With Visage Familiars there, yeah, this tower is definitely going down, and there's no way that Reborn Dominion are going to be able to defend it. Witch Doctor's going up pretty forward, but with Visage Familiars in the vicinity, a Witch Doctor ward might not be able to do the trick, but Gyro might have overstayed his welcome, and although he has Call Down available, both teams trying to figure out how much exactly they can get away with there. Definitely Gyro's heading for a Drums, which I guess is alright if they really want to start pushing like this. So I would hope... Yeah, that's an alright item. It'll help them push more. I'm not sure the familiars get the benefit of it. They may. They can. I would imagine they do. Invoker trying to make a play on the Silencer, but I don't think he's going to be able to. And yeah, Silencer's getting himself... Oh no, the Invoker's caught out of Fiend's Grip and Rocket Barrage, and he's definitely dead. This Silencer has massive amounts of intelligence, and that's just going to hurt. The later this game goes, the harder this guy's going to hit. And this is the hero they want to feed the least. The Gyro getting some kills, okay, our Anti-Mage is going to be able to man-fight him. The Visage getting some kills, whatever, it's the Visage. I mean, then again, he can get the Ags. A good weave, but unfortunately nothing's going to be able to come from it. But feeding the Silencer is the last thing you want to do, I think, if you're Reborn Dominion. He's going to become the most... So the thing is, glaives do pure damage. This hero is already really good against Anti-Mage until he gets in Manta Style. But he's going to hit the Anti-Mage really hard at every point in the game. They managed to farm up one familiar, although he can resummon if he wants to. There's a very slow-moving Gyro Rocket on the way. Anti-Mage splitting up the map, which I think is probably what he should do. He needs to minimize his involvement until he's able to participate at a more meaningful level besides getting a Mana Void on someone who's low mana. They're looking in the jungle, but Fiend's Grip is down, so they may not be able to get this kill. Familiars are too far away, and I don't think this is... Yeah, she just runs right into him and walks past him, but I don't think that was going to be able to turn into a kill regardless. Without Fiend's Grip, the Visage and the Bane do not have the damage. Another familiar farmed up, which is pretty big, pretty bad. They don't have the damage. The familiars are a huge source of damage and control for Ares because their AoE control is extremely limited and very soft. Really good jump from the Axe, call down, global comes out, but it may not really accomplish that much. They dunk the Invoker and they Blink's cooling down and they can probably get the... What's the Courier doing? Oh god. See, the Courier doesn't die, but Bristle and Dazzle not in a really safe spot. Hopefully, for their sake, I hope Ares retreats, but they've still got the T1, but Ares definitely positioning themselves to take it. And though this Anti-Mage is farming well, he's not... His net worth is pretty low. They're going to catch the Dazzle, and I just hope this Bristle tries to run away. But it looks like they're TPing people in. They want this fight, and they could get next. Really good Tornado catching two, but the Nightmare comes out from the Bane. EMP, but is this really going to be able to save the Invoker? This is going to take a couple more auto attacks, and we just... Oh, dang, that poor Invoker. Probably shouldn't have TP'd in there. I think you just want to sacrifice your Bristle and your Dazzle. You don't... He's not leveled enough yet to really get that crazy, like, Tornado Meatball combo, right? He doesn't have the tools in his kit yet to do those crazy combos to get 2 or 3 kills by himself. So they need to, and that's the problem with Reborn Dominion's lineup, is it takes a little while to get going, but I think once they get going, it'll be really hard to stop them. It'll come down to just really efficient usage of your Global Silence and really good axe jumps. So I think Ares Dota are right now at their peak. They're the strongest on the map. Axe has Blink, that's really all he needs. You've got Gyro with level 2 call down and HOD. Silencer has level 2 global, he's getting some good levels. Bane has level 6, and really I guess he could get a Blink. And really the only heroes that are going to get much stronger than right now on their team is Silencer and Visage. I mean, obviously Gyrocopter can pick himself up an item such as a... And by the way, free Roshan, but the Gyro can't pick him item like an MKB, maybe a Daedalus, and he's probably going to get a BKB at some point in this game. Good Tornado. Might be able to save their Dazzle, but the Global comes out, and they're just going to have to sacrifice him. But Fiend's Grip is used on the Dazzle and not on, say, the Invoker or the Anti-Mage. Wish Doctor throws out Cask, but it doesn't bounce. It only hits the one. an alright death ward, but immediately nightmared, and Bristle falls to the gyro in the back, and there's no way this poor Witch Doctor's getting out of here. Tornado's not quite ready. Call Down's dedicated, but they probably didn't need to. Anti-Mage, I want to say he's playing exactly the way he needs to play this game. He's playing precisely how he needs to. He's staying out of these fights as long as he can and as best as he can and pressuring other parts on the map. Because if he fights now, he's going to die. I think he needs a Manta style, maybe get a BKB, but that's probably not really the item. A good Tornado, trying to slow down the push as best he can, and Anti-Mage claims a free tower at top. So this guy is playing great. He's playing exactly how he wants to. He's making space for his team and just trying to buy time. He's making sure that they're not getting nothing. If we look at the net worth here, though, it is still about, probably after that tower, about 8k in favor of Reborn of Ares. But, and if we look at the XP graph, the story is much the same. And this is, if you're Reborn Dominion, this is exactly how the game is not supposed to go. You wanted to buy as much time as possible with your draft, because Invoker scales fantastically, fantastically, that's a word. Bristleback scales great. Anti-Mage is, you know, there's the joke, you know, I finished farming. Anti-Mage scales well. Witch Doctors are really well scaling support, and so is Dazzle. They have lots of ways to take fights later in the game, but right now it's not going to be enough. And one thing, so the gyro gets the S and Y, so he's definitely got early game in mind. He's buying these really cheap, cost-effective items that let him fight early and stay in fights for as long as possible. And I like that choice. Blade Mail coming out on the axe here soon. Bane has wards coming to him. Mechanism finished on Visage. I wonder, he got Tranquil, so he's probably not going for... Ooh, barely missed the jump there, so looks like Reborn Dominion might actually be able to get away from this fight. But Gyro's very bold. He still has Aegis, so maybe... Alright, it looks like Ares doesn't want to take that fight right there, but they do want to take this tower. And with the items that Ares Dota is going, they're geared up for an early and fast game. They really want to finish this game quickly. They just want to push. They've got mech. They have lots of sustainability. They know they can go up high ground with Global and Aegis. So this is... Both teams are playing their drafts. I mean, Ares is playing the game better. They're doing what they want to. And Reborn Dominion, I think, has made a few bad choices with maybe how they laned and maybe how they played their lanes. I think their supports stayed in the lane way too long. They were splitting XP for way too long. And that's just... It just goes to show, because the Bane is level 9 and the Visage is level 8, whereas Dazzle's level 7 and Witch Doctor's level 8. So there's the Global, which they do still have Death Ward, so they may be able to take the defense, especially because Weave is on most of these heroes, and he's just getting blown up by the tower damage. A good taunt comes out, and Tornado goes flying, catches the Axe and the Bane. That could be big. Axe goes down in the back. Death Ward that's not going to achieve anything. Pretty bad micro from the immediately canceled Fiend script too. This could be what Reborn Dominion wanted. And look at that. Anti-Mage this whole time is at top lane, split pushing, taking a T2. If Reborn Dominion can slow this down for as long as they can, they might force him back. And look at this. Anti-Mage is buying his Yasha at the other team's shop. Ares has to stay to get a tower, and it's unfortunate that Tornado missed, because now Bane may be able to stop the Anti-Mage, but without Fiend Script for how long? Fortify comes out, and it looks like this Invoker's going to get popped. There's almost... He might be able to make it away, but... Uh-oh. Let's see if he makes it into Fountain in time. Mid-racks fall, and the ranged racks will be soon to follow, so... Anti-Mage doing a great job buying space for his team, making sure they didn't get absolutely nothing for that trade, but still... This puts them at a fair disadvantage, although they do have really good wave clear. This is not a death sentence. I think it was really well played from both teams. I think, well, really well played from Anti-Mage. I think there was some pretty serious mismicro from the Visage Birds, and the Bane immediately canceling Fiend Script probably wasn't what he wanted to do. And I think before too long now, we're going to see this Anti-Mage join fights, and if you're Ares Dota, you probably don't want that. Because if he gets a Manta style, he can break out of the global silence, and then he's just free to roam around as much as he pleases. And with 2 pretty reliable ways to cancel the Fiend's Grip, he could be very difficult to pin down. Especially with max spell shield, they're a pretty magic damage heavy team, although Silencer's pure damage will still do a really good job beating the living tar out of this anti-mage. Alright, so it looks like Reborn Dominion have smoked up everyone except the Witch Doctor, who is about 1,600 gold away from his axe, and they want to go into the enemy jungle. They're starting to get on the aggressive. They decided, alright, anti-mage has some decent farm, let's find these heroes and kill them. They find the courier. I wonder what they've caught. It could be... See if they're going to be able to catch something off the back foot of this, and Silencer might just run right into them. But it looks like they just missed him. The nighttime vision preventing them from seeing the Silencer walking right by them. It's really unfortunate. They may still find him. He has no TP scroll. Ares Dota playing on the opposite side of the map, saying, you know what, we don't want to get caught by this. We can't afford any losses. Let's just hang out here and hope Silencer doesn't get himself caught. This could be a huge kill, too. If they kill the Silencer, he does have buyback available. Forcing a buyback would be just... I think you're really happy with that. But unfortunately, Reborn Dominion have to run back to base to defend, so... And Ares Dota decide, alright, let's gear up to push, but... And all of our RD's heroes decide to go back. They decide, alright, we can't lose a second lane of Rax. Let's make sure... Almost a really well-timed... call. Global comes out, so now Fiend's Grip is up. He's glimmered, but the glimmer's ended. Call down hits 3, 4. Anti-Mage has joined the fight. Really big mana void. And it looks like this was a bit of a... Oh, but Visage has arrived, but unfortunately has no charges on Soul Assumption, so doesn't do any damage. I apologize for missing some stuff in that team fight there, but I think... Yes, that heavily favors Reborn Dominion thanks to the comeback gold. And killing the Gyro is what's really important. You lose 2 supports in your Invoker who isn't really doing that well anyway. And the Anti-Mage now has... Yeah, this Anti-Mage is huge. Look at his net worth. He went from he's 2k ahead of the Gyrocopter and with 1k in the bank. I imagine next he'll probably be getting a Butterfly, possibly a Basher if he wants to play more aggressively. Roshan, we're about to see how long till he spawns, so not up quite yet. Let's see how much ahead on last hits this Anti-Mage is. Yeah, over 120 more last hits to this Gyrocopter. This Anti-Mage has been playing a really good game, but were the mistakes that his team... I wonder if the mistakes his team made were too much. Will he not be able to get back into this game? Will he not be able to just... you know, pick up his team and say, alright guys, come with me, and then drag them to victory. Reborn Dominion, though, showing that they are able to defend their base. They are able to at least slow down the push. That was an extremely fast Roshan spawn. He's back, and I think whichever team sees it first is the team to take it. I think... the most worrisome thing for me, for Reborn Dominion, is that this Invoker is extremely underleveled, and most of their heroes are just really underleveled, and... Alright, so they smoke up, and they smoke up right outside of Vision, so... They've definitely got a plan, and if they're going for Roche, they could get a really good fight here with a good Tornado, but they don't have any Vision. Their smoke's going to get popped by the Axe, and will they be able to get him right away? A good Tornado catching the Axe. EMP, silenced. Global comes out, but will they be able to capitalize off of it, or are they going to retreat? Good taunt, catching the 2. Anti-Mage is graved. Good mana void. Awesome Death Ward. This Death Ward is doing work, but the Anti-Mage falls in the end. They do get the Gyrocopter, but this Visage might get a couple kills in the end. Yeah, this Visage blows up the 2, so... Well, it looked like a pretty good initiation from Reborn Dominion turns into losing their whole team. Let's see if this Witch Doctor can... No, he can't even TP. If he's quick, he might be able to buy his... Unfortunate. So let's see what the fight recap comes up, and Bane now finishing a Blink Dagger, which is a really big item for him, and it's just Reborn Dominion really needed that to go well for them, but it didn't. They lost So they got a lot of gold on the Witch Doctor, they got a lot of gold on the Invoker, and a fair amount of XP too. Actually, a pretty significant amount of XP on these two heroes as well. And that's probably more meaningful for the Invoker than the gold. But losing your anti-mage, who is the most valuable hero on the map and the most important hero for your team, and I mean it was a 5 for 3, so it wasn't worth it in the first place. But it's risky. I think if they had some vision here, they could have taken a better fight. But going in blind like that, I don't think is really that wise. Although, they do have the Witch Doctor Act now, so this could change the game, but with so many ways to cancel it, we'll see if he's able to get a good one. We did see in the last fight he was able to pull off an awesome Death Ward, and I'm looking forward to see if he's going to be able to do it again. Gonna take a quick look at the net worth. It's going slightly up and towards Reborn Dominion. They came back about 2k gold, and even in that fight, they only went down about, they only lost about 300 in that last fight. It was about 1,300 for them and 1,600 for Ares. So the numbers say it wasn't a horrible fight for them, although it's not the fight they were looking for. The XP graph, though, has gone very, very heavily back in their favor. Dipped down a little bit there, but this is more important, more telling, I think. And I'm sorry, I actually completely missed Roshan. Wow, I can't believe I did that, but Gyrocopter getting a 10-second BKB, this could definitely be all they need to close out the game. Bane is looking to blink in on someone and get a Fiend's Grip, and he'd have to get the Invoker or else it's probably going to be cancelled immediately. While that was happening, oh my god, guys, I really apologize. My map awareness is terrible. Anti-Mage claims a tier 3 tower. He's sitting on 4k. That death hardly slowed him down at all, and he's the highest level hero on the map. Still the highest net worth by even more than he was earlier, and that's after he was killed off in a fight. Getting maximum efficiency, waiting for the skeletons to spawn. Good plays, good plays. DD on your Gyrocopter, this is definitely scary. Silencer finishing up a Scythe of Vice. He's going to be hitting really, really hard with his Glaives of Wisdom. There's no TP on the Anti-Mage, and I think if he had one, he could afford to continue to pressure and even threaten Rax. And he may do so anyways, but his team might need him. Global comes out early to try to stop the death ward. Call down hitting just on the Gyro. There's a Grave, but will it do much? And Fiend's Grip on the Invoker, but he still manages to barely survive a well-timed Ghost Walk, and Ares still just chipping away at the tower. And see what this Anti-Mage ends up doing. He might cut the wave, or Bristleback's back now. There's a good tornado catching too, but Aegis is still available, so they may be able to save him in the end. Oh, no, Gyro's definitely going down, so they get a T3, but they lose so much here. Gyro's still dishing out pretty heavy damage to his team, to the opposing team, but Anti-Mage shows up and is really ready to grab himself some kills. Glimmer Cape, there's no detection available on either team, and that's unfortunate. So Anti-Mage is going for a heart, and this will allow him to really, really fight. Like, he'll be able to, good job canceling the TP with the Mana Void. They probably won't be able to get this Bane, he can blink away now, so decent recovery from Reborn Dominion. They did a great job defending their high ground, I think, and I don't think this really shows anything. But that's still a lot of gold going the way of Anti-Mage just for that Visage, and the gold graph, it's telling us that with that Gyro death, with the, I think Axe died at the beginning of the fight, and Visage getting picked, there's Reborn Dominion are starting to hit that stride, and it's like I was saying earlier, Ares Dota don't scale as well into the late game. Reborn Dominion have extremely strong end game heroes, and if you're Ares Dota, you're wanting this game to be over by now. I think you're really wanting to close out this game in the next 5 to 10 minutes, because it's not going to be much longer before Reborn Dominion really hit their stride. Invoker's going to get some items up, and he opted for the Maelstrom, which I guess is okay. Give him some damage outside of when he's globaled, but I think a BKB would have probably been a better choice. And Anti-Mage completing the heart, and now he's completely ready to take you guys on in fights. Visage does have Guardian Greaves. He finished that earlier. I should have pointed that out. I apologize. What is that? Oh, it's Crimson Guard, or Blade Mail. I was so confused. Okay, so Axe, I'm not really sure what he's going for, but here's a smoke rotation into the enemy jungle from Ares Dota. And if they're lucky, they might catch the Invoker, but will it be enough? And there's a blink, but immediately canceled. Global comes out. This is bad. This is a really good engagement from Ares Dota, and Reborn Dominion need to get out of there. They can't afford to lose this fight. Invoker gets dunked down immediately. A really well-positioned Death Ward just tearing, doing massive amounts of damage, and that Death Ward is just huge. Animage had to get out, and there's Bristle. That fight was... If you're Ares, that did not go the way you wanted it to, and that Death Ward just positioned perfectly, waited out the global silence, and Animage is ready to go back in. Heart of Tarrasque at work, healing him up, and I think there's a Hex ready, so they may actually be able to get the pick. Animage might have overstepped his boundaries, but let's see. A good cast, and that Mana Void just blows Silencer up immediately, and these Familiars might get fed too. Looks like he's able to save his Familiars, but Reborn Dominion have to go back to defend their base, and massive gold shift. That's what happens. They've hit their peak. You can see that Ares have definitely hit their peak here, and now it's Reborn Dominion who I think are dictating the pace of this game.
Dire's bottom tower has fallen.
Animage just is one more item away from being the wow, that's 8k gold advantage. The Gyro has only gone up about 1k gold since getting his BKB, and that's the drawback of going all these mid-game oriented items, is you just have no way to fight up against a hero like this, and Silencer really is their best hope. They have to kill this Witch Doctor, who's just been playing outstanding. His Death Ward positioning has been perfect, but here he is getting himself an Aether Lens. Oh, or Arcane Boots. Let's see if that's what he really wanted in the end. So he went for both, and now he can cast Death Ward from really, really far away, and I think that's actually going to make a pretty good difference. It'll be so much harder to cancel the Death Ward now with Axe Taunt or a Silence Hex, or even Bane is going to struggle to stop this Death Ward, and all he has to do is safely wait out the silence, and that's a huge... That's absurd cast range. It's like Animage is going in, a good Axe Taunt. The Global Silence comes out. Animage is Fiend's Grip, this might be what they need. Invoker got dunked. Here's the Death Ward though, but it's not going to be enough this time. There's no vision, so they can't pop it up from the high ground. And they lost the Animage. He does have buyback up, but this is really good for Ares. This is showing we can still kill this Animage. And it's unfortunate that the Death Ward wasn't on the high ground. He wasn't able to continue hitting, but I don't know how much of a difference it really would have made. But I think Reborn Dominion really shot themselves in the foot there, and I imagine this is going to tick back down unless it's not. That's really interesting. They may lose a lane of Raxter, but they do have Fortify up, buy back up on the Animage. Invoker's up pretty soon. Their creep wave is really far back, so I think Reborn Dominion can defend this, and Bristleback, he's had Crimson Guard for a while, I should have pointed that out. Dazzle, I think he's probably going to go Solar Crest, which will let them just make it so hard to kill this Animage, and 22 seconds left on the Death Ward. Will they be able to defend without it? And Animage may be forced to buy back here, and I don't think he wants to. I think that was a pretty early buyback. I think he could have waited till they committed more to the fight, but it looks like they're forced to stay. That was a pretty poor Mana Void, but let's see how this fight goes. Call down catches on everyone, but this Death Ward, there's no Global Silence available, and the Death Ward is just absolutely destroying everyone. And the Bristleback, oh god! The Death Ward plus all that Bristleback damage is just huge. And they catch him. The Glimmer Cape ends just the last second before his TP goes, and Reborn Dominion definitely in charge of this game now. And that Death Ward, I just want to see how much damage it did. Witch Doctor ends up dishing out the most damage, 1k more than the Animage, and about 700 more than that Gyrocopter. And this Witch Doctor just playing such a good game, and I think it really falls to the Witch Doctor and the Animage for keeping Reborn Dominion into this game in this game as long as they have. And 5 buybacks available on Ares Dota, doing a very good job saving for their buybacks, but I'm not sure they can afford another fight like that. If that happens one more time, even if it's on the other side of the map, it could be the game. This gold graph is just going up in the opposite direction now, and that's not what you want to see if you're Ares Dota. They're up to defend, but I think if Axe taunts there, he dies. I would like to see this Animage go for a Basher. Bristleback is probably finished up his his Assault Cuirass now, or is very, very close to his Assault Cuirass. And that's going to be a huge item for taking these fights, making the Animage even tankier, and not just that, but taking towers even faster than they already do with that Animage. The worst part about that, I think, for Ares was they didn't even get to scratch the barracks. Yeah, Animage is going for the Basher, and I think that's the right item choice here. He needs to be able to stop them from just running away from him, and an Abyssal Blade will just let him eat the gyro up just so fast, but if he's not careful, he could get caught. Bane, oh, but Bane uses his Blink. How unfortunate. Let's see if he's predicting the Animage Blink. Great Fiend's Grip, an awesome prediction, but do they have the damage? Animage may still be able to get away in the end, but never mind. It looks like they dedicated a lot to get him, and they got him, and now there's no buyback on the Animage. They have 98 seconds to do something, but unfortunately the creep waves bot and top are shoved in, so they're going to have to push that out. It'll be really risky for them not to. Gyro's probably going for a Butterfly. I suppose he could opt for a Halberd, but I think he needs an endgame item. He does not hit nearly hard enough for this stage of the game, and it's really the one position here, really the hard carry here is the Silencer. Their Silencer is the bulk of their damage now. The Gyro, good damage, but I think the way he's built, he's not going to scale that well. There's a minute without the Animage, and Invoker doing his damnedest to slow down the push. With Death Ward available, they may be able to make a defense. Plus, this Bristleback with Assault Cuirass and Crimson Guard, extremely tanky hero. We'll see what ends up happening if they're able to take this defense. There is a fortification up. I imagine they'll probably save it for barracks. Good cast bounces so far, but Invoker needs to be careful. 3 caught in the call down. Good Grave to save the Invoker, but Dazzle blows up in response, and this Bristle's getting pretty low too. He needs to be really careful, and they lose the Bristleback, and they've got to do something, but they might not be able to. That Silencer is really well positioned to zone out a Witch Doctor. And there's the global, immediately canceling the Death Ward. Good job saving it for him. Animage coming up in 6, but they're going to lose Invoker, and this could be the game. That Animage getting caught out the way he did might have been what they needed, but we'll see. His Animage is back. He does not have Basher on him, though. He needs to get that Basher off from the Courier. This could be more than one lane of Rax, too. They do have good wave clear, but Reborn Dominion are definitely in a tight spot right now. Animage is enfeebled and didn't build very many just right-click damage items, so this could be dangerous. Scythe of Vice is ready, Orchid's ready. If you're Reborn Dominion, you have to do something about this. You can't let this go. If they get Megas, I don't care how fat your Animage gets, it's probably over. They're trying to wait out that, but a really good Glimmer Cape to defend the Silencer. A zoning call down, and they're going to lose their ranged Rax. So melee Rax still up, but they need this. They can't let this go. A first hit bash, we'll see. He's melting this Gyrocopter, and they need to stop them. And unfortunately, the Ancient is exposed. This good TP in from the Axe, and it might be too late. This may be too late. Mega creeps for the Ares, and valiant effort from Reborn Dominion, and I think they played really well, but this could be the end. They have to get something now. They would have to get something right now, and they do have a Maelstrom, they do have Witch Doctor Cask, they have Bristleback, they have Animage with Battle Fury, so they can feasibly defend against Megas, but I don't know if they can win against Megas. This has been an awesome game so far. It was really back and forth, and I want to see if Reborn Dominion have it in them to make a comeback. Animage beating up those Mega Creeps like they're nothing, but will they be able to defend the side lanes? They're trying to run down mid, but Ares are respawning soon, and it might not be enough. Silencer completing an Ags, which increases his damage output a fair amount. Alacrity on the Animage. They're definitely trying to get the push going, and unfortunately they could lose to Megas while they wait.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Fortification popped, but they have to look back at their own base. It's just so dangerous. Scythe of Vice completed on the Visage now. It'll be really hard for this Animage to push in.
Dire's middle tower has fallen.
Silencer buys back. He has Global available. Dazzle valiantly defending their base. This could be a base race. Ares Dota doing their best to defend, and it looks like the Animage gets locked down. The dunk misses, but he's still dead without buyback, and without an Animage for 90 seconds, I don't see how Reborn Dominion can do this. Valiant effort, and maybe Ares makes some misplays and loses it, but with Mega Creeps beating up your Ancient and no fortification, this could be bad, and this could definitely be the end. Invoker trying his hardest to slow down these creeps. Animage just gets buyback available, but with a naked Ancient, I don't know. If they can somehow push out Mega Creeps, if they can somehow team wipe Ares, they may be able to win this one. Unfortunately, Ares Dota are making the safer play, getting Roshan, completing the butterfly now on the Gyro, sorry if the hiccups, who has now completed his butterfly and sold his drums. Cheeses up and on the gyrocopter. I think giving immortality to Silencer was definitely the play since he does not have the buyback available. This is definitely the last fight of the game, and I think it may be over for Reborn Dominion. The Gyro has caught up really well to this Animage, and your Invoker is just so behind, and so is your Bristleback, and I just don't think they have the tools to take a fight against both Mega Creeps, the enemy team, without any buybacks, and with a naked Ancient. And I don't think Fortify is even available. The Global Silence is doing a lot of work. Animage is in the middle of this fight, taking up as much as he can. Gyrocopter gets a double kill with his ultimate. A really well placed Death Board, but is it enough? He gets Nightmared and dishes out some serious damage, but without an Animage, this is definitely game. Really, really good defense from Reborn Dominion. Really back and forth game, and I had a great time casting this, and I think it was really well played from Ares. Reborn Dominion played their draft really well. Animage and Witch Doctor just putting out some massive plays, and Bristleback too. But this Silencer play just dominating his lane. Ares Dota just really, really flexing their muscles and putting massive amounts of pressure onto the opposing lanes, which is exactly what they needed to do to shut down this Animage and Invoker who just scale so well in the late game. And I think Reborn Dominion, if they had played their supports in the mid better, if they had maybe chosen their fights a little bit better, especially having, I think Dazzle should have had a point in Grave at level 3. I think he definitely needed a point in Grave so he could defensively rotate to save his Invoker, because they tried to take several fights without Shallow Grave, and that was too risky, too greedy, and definitely something they should try their best not to repeat in the future. So looking forward to game 2. I hope you guys are too, and I'm probably just going to toss on some music while you wait, and I hope you guys stay tuned.